Good evening, everyone. My name is Jill Lalonde, and I'm the Executive Director of One Village Partners. Usually, we gather in the fall for our annual partner breakfast, and I truly wish we could be together in person. Yet, with hard times come new opportunities, like today, where we can expand our event beyond Minnesota and welcome friends and supporters from around the world to our first ever virtual fundraiser. These are unprecedented times. The pandemic and the renewed spotlight on systemic injustice and racism have challenged us to confront isolation and tragedy. For the next 30 minutes, we will discuss overcoming challenges and see that among the hardship, we can find togetherness, progress, and joy. Tonight, we are celebrating a huge milestone, 10 years of catalyzing community-led change in Sierra Leone. At our annual partner breakfast, we usually raise 1/3 of our annual revenue, so this event is a big deal for us and our Sierra Leonean friends. I hope you're inspired to give and to give generously. The link to donate is right below. Thank you for joining us for the last decade, tonight, and in the years to come. Now, I'd like to welcome Jeff Hall, founder and board chair, to tell us how this all started.
Good evening, everyone. Over the last 10 years, we've expanded our work from 3 original villages to over 20 communities, and we have big plans to keep growing. But before we look ahead, let's take a few minutes to remember how this effort began. I had never heard of Sierra Leone until the Peace Corps asked me to go there and serve. My first impression was the poverty, but also the natural beauty of lush rainforests and beautiful beaches. Yet 400 years of slavery and colonialism have left the country with low income, poor roads, and very weak health and education systems. During my 2 years living there, my village friends held me in their hands like family, and I saw clearly the beauty and strength of the people in spite of their difficult circumstances. I learned the Peace Corps lesson. Though people around the world can be so different in culture, religion, and language, we are all part of the human family. We are all one village. After my Peace Corps years, the country descended into a destructive civil war, and my village was completely destroyed and abandoned for 7 years until the war ended. After the war, spurred on by the generosity and encouragement of friends and family, I worked with my village and 2 neighboring communities to rebuild homes and water wells and provide scholarships to help get folks back on their feet. Then 10 years ago, we formalized One Village Partners as an agent of change, a catalyst to foster thriving, resilient, and connected communities in Sierra Leone. During the Peace Corps, my next-door neighbor was a young girl named Nancy. Today, she represents much of our work's impact. Nancy was full of potential when I met her 30 years ago. She was quick to smile and enjoyed joking around with her siblings and friends. Yet, as so often happens, Nancy got married and pregnant in 7th grade and dropped out of school. Over the years, she and her husband had to work hard in the fields every day to provide food for their 2 young girls. On a recent trip, I saw Nancy again, and she had just completed our Nurturing Opportunities for Women program, where she learned for the first time how to budget and set financial goals. Nancy's goal was to save enough money to keep her girls in school. She has been meeting her goal ever since and is empowered to share what she's learned with others. She's taught her girls about budgeting and finance, and the entire family now plans their future together. As I reflect on the last 10 years of One Village Partners, I'm amazed at how many of you have come together to help us grow. We are now working with 26,000 people, just like Nancy, who are forging ahead towards prosperity. Friends, we do this together. We all come together to prevent disease and create opportunity, to empower women to build businesses and use their voice, to mobilize communities to create hopeful futures for all our children. Together we all thrive. And now I invite you to see how the beautiful community of Pedua has driven their own change over the years.
One Village Partner is unique because our community partners choose the projects they feel will benefit their communities the most. It is inspiring to see how these community members have gained knowledge through our work to lead their own development projects and therefore improve their well-being.
Pedwa is a community 3 miles from the One Village Partners office in Bunambu with a population of 1,480. Pedwa started working with One Village Partners in 2016. The community's primary source of income is small-scale farming. Community Action Group volunteers Amara and Aisata walked us around Pedwa and explained the importance of their completed projects. In May 2017, Pedwa completed construction of their 31 latrines with hand washing stations. Since then, the community has seen an 89% decrease in diarrhea diseases. Today, 100% of the latrines built are still in use. For their second project, Pedwa focused on improving agricultural activities for the town's many farmers and built a storage facility to safely store agricultural products and a dryer floor for drying rice seeds and other crops. 30 farmers were trained on improving agricultural techniques and given access to a seed bank with a variety of high-quality rice seeds. For their third project, Pedwa constructed a rice milling machine along with a solar paneled structure to house the machine. The rice milling facility has significantly reduced the burden on women and children who traditionally process the rice by hand and walk long distances to the nearest rice milling machine. The facility has also improved farmers' yield, thus increasing their food security and income. The impact and sustainability of this project inspired 3 other One Village Partners community partners to do a similar type of project. Having completed 3 full projects in the Community Action Program, the Community Action Group volunteers are excited to participate in One Village Partners' newest program, LEAD. In LEAD, volunteer leaders enhance their leadership skills and use their training to identify a project and submit a proposal for funding. The program creates civic engagement platforms for regional collaboration and results in sustainable, effective development.
The concept of community has taken on new meaning this year, as we feel the physical separation of family and friends, and we feel the importance of supporting our neighbors during these times. This year's hardships have led me to even more frequently think about how the difficult choices we face day to day are still dwarfed by what individuals face in Sierra Leone. I have a daughter entering kindergarten, and like many of you, my family has been forced to make tough decisions about how to educate her remotely, when and how we sacrifice our livelihoods and professional lives, and uncertainty about the future. In Sierra Leone, Fatu Mumo, a mother of 3 who I talked with, shared with me that she had to choose between sending her children to school and buying rice. Even in times of crisis, here in the US, we have opportunity. When COVID-19 began spreading around the world, there were a total of 14 ventilators in Sierra Leone. Learning from our experience responding to the Ebola outbreak, we dove into prevention measures, knowing that prevention was and is the best way to keep people healthy and alive. We quickly distributed hand washing stations and masks. By building on our relationships and collaborations, we provided picture-based education on COVID-19 prevention to more than 30,000 people. We partnered with the local Nixon Memorial Hospital to rehabilitate an old nurses' quarters with beds, bug nets, and clean water so people could quarantine safely and with dignity. As of today, we are relieved to report that we have had 0 confirmed cases of COVID in our 20 partner communities. We also realized that many of the thousands of Sierra Leoneans who live here in Minnesota are frontline workers during this pandemic, many serving as nurses and senior caregivers. We worked with the Sierra Leonean community of Minnesota to provide support. We started with a household supply and food donation drive and have recently begun a volunteer tutoring program to offer support to students who, because of distance learning, need academic assistance. Strong Sierra Leonean families here at home help keep communities across the ocean in Sierra Leone strong too. We're now going to transition to another group that has pushed through the challenges of this year, our Nurturing Opportunities for Women participants. Let's hear from some of the women themselves about what the NOW program means to them.
The Nurturing Opportunity for Women program now under One Village Partners has 2 phases. Phase 1 deals with strengthening household finances through picture-based learning, and Phase 2 focusing on improving income through business skills. More than 750 participants have benefited from both phases in more than 18 communities.
Using entirely picture-based tools, the NOW program empowers participants with financial planning, decision-making, and public speaking skills. The program is accessible to all women, regardless of literacy level. For some women, it is their first time holding a pencil. In 2019, 217 women graduated from the NOW and NOW Business Skills programs. 94% of NOW graduates improved their financial preparedness for unexpected events like a pandemic. Musu Kabe of the community of Yandahun shares with us how she has benefited and profited from NOW Business Skills, a continuation of the NOW program that trains women to successfully run a profitable business.
With OVP, I am now doing a business which is making ginger cake. With coronavirus, I wasn't able to travel, so I had to stop the business. Before, I was making 100,000 leones, 200,000 leones a month, which is the equivalent of $10 or $20 a month from selling the cakes. Later, I started selling in the surrounding villages to my relatives for the selling to go faster. And with the profits I gained, I bought 2 drums of palm oil that I have now. With selling the oil, I will make more profit. And after the learning, I was able to bring my group members in order to form a club to follow the idea that were given to us. With that, we do upland farming, which is about 8 acres, and the swamp is also about 3 acres. We are finishing the swamp work. The swamp is not far from town. If you want, we can go see it. Many thanks to OVP for the knowledge they have given me.
Today, Musu and her fellow NOW participants formed an agribusiness group and are farming 19 acres of rice to sell for shared profits.
With the learning, they have the ability to even plan their family, plan their resources, and even on their money. Whenever they receive money, they plan, budget, and even save out of their income. But before, that was not happening.
Together we are changing lives.
Next, I am entirely honored to introduce you to Darren Walker and Sheku Gasimu. Darren is the president of the Ford Foundation, one of the largest global philanthropies working to disrupt inequality and promote social justice around the world. An international thought leader and innovator, Darren is a prolific writer and TV commentator on critical issues facing vulnerable people around the world. Last year, the Ford Foundation provided a generous grant to One Village Partners, and we are so grateful to Darren and the Ford Foundation for their partnership. Sheku is our Community Action Program Manager, overseeing all community projects in Sierra Leone, and most recently, our regional expansion. He's been working with One Village Partners for 6 years. As a Sierra Leonean, Sheku knows firsthand the resiliency of his country. I'll now hand it over to Darren and Sheku.
Thank you for your and the Ford Foundation support of One Village Partners. And thank you for joining me today.
Well, I'm honored to be here. Sheku, the work of One Village Partners is critical. The organization is doing vitally significant work in Western Africa and Sierra Leone in particular. And this is a region that has had so many challenges. And yet, people like you, your fellow countrymen and women who are committed to a better nation and a better region and a better Africa.
Darren, you have proven to be an effective advocate for reducing poverty and injustice around the world. In a year of a global health crisis and a spotlight on systemic injustice, we have seen many organizations, families, and individuals turning inward. But on the contrary, the Ford Foundation has taken out a $1 billion in debt to support the important work of non-profits through these challenging times. In such a heavy year, Darren, what successes have we achieved as a world that keep you motivated to do this work?
Well, first, Sheku, I don't think the Ford Foundation should be particularly commended. I think we did with issuing the social bond what we should be doing, and that is demanding of ourselves that we do more, that we innovate, that we evolve, and that we are porous enough to respond to the challenge of this moment. I am a believer in seeing reasons for hope. Organizations like One Village Partners gives me reasons for hope, because you see the resilience, the dedication, the determination of people like yourself to not give up, to not give in. In the United States, one of my heroes was a man called Congressman John Lewis, and he always commended us to cause trouble, cause good trouble, and cause it as much and as often, as frequently as we can. And what he was saying during his lifetime is we are going to need troublemakers. The troublemakers like you, Sheku, organizations that cause trouble, good trouble, like One Village Partners, who are not willing to take no for an answer, not willing to accept the status quo. And I think around the world, if we are to solve the challenge of poverty and inequality and injustice, we are going to have more good troublemakers, because the world is a perilous place. And we need organizations like One Village Partners to be the lighthouse in the harbor, giving light and energy to goodness and to positive messages and stories during a time of great darkness.
What an incredible response. And I think I like the response about One Village Partners being a troublemaker. And I think that is incredible, kind of like trying to not to take no as an answer, but going deep. And I also like the humility and the resilience through which we kind of like try to engage our communities in making sure they feel more kind of like a part of the process and not out of the process. That is incredible, Darren. Darren, you may agree with me that philanthropy and international development have complicated paths. Both are rooted in racism, classism, and colonialism. One Village Partners model is a direct response to that, with a vision to shift power to communities so everyone has the ability to shape their own lives. Why do you think that community-led approaches like One Village Partners are important? And how can organizations be more effective by putting communities first?
Well, we know from the history of international development that the old way of doing things, having elites, having Americans and Europeans plan from conference rooms in Washington and New York and Geneva strategies for poverty reduction in Africa. The roads and urban slums of Africa are filled with the carcasses, the equipment, the development projects that did not work. And they did not work because they did not put community at the center. They did not empower community residents. And we know that when community residents have agency, autonomy, authority, projects will be sustained and will be more durable and resilient. And so part of the shift that we have made at the Ford Foundation, and I think we're seeing, Sheku, very manifest in the idea of One Village Partners, is to not privilege the credentialed knowledge of experts from the World Bank or from some foundation, but to lift up and honor the wisdom and lived experience of people closest to the challenge, and to give them the power to be able to, with of course the help of experts when needed, to design and implement and hopefully sustain their work. I believe that this must be the way forward if we are to truly see the development landscape change and to see this work endure. We've got to have community at the center.
We gotta have communities at the center. I think this is it's a learning for everyone across the world, and it's really something that pushes the community more in the role that they make decisions over their own lives. And that is incredible, Darren. I think it is going to be something that we continue to reflect on and continue to push forward and make sure that communities are actually the masters of their own kind of like destiny and how they want to see change in their own environment. Thank you very much, Darren. Thank you for taking your time to share your wisdom and experience with us today. You inspired us and you give us hope. You have not only been, and you have not only made it success on your own, to make your success on your own, but you continue to advocate for the most vulnerable people as you. The Ford Foundation showed the way a more just future for everyone. Thank you very much, Darren.
Thank you, Sheku. This has been a great honor and privilege for me. Congratulations to you and everyone at One Village Partners.
Welcome to our new hub. It has been a very good, joyous moment and exciting and important for us to have been able to establish a new hub office where we are trying our model in a different community with new partners and new friends. Fami Kaka.
The community of Bobohun recently partnered with One Village Partners to catalyze their own development. At the end of August, 13 community members volunteered to participate in the Community Action Program. These volunteer leaders have recently begun their training sessions and are learning how to collaborate, mobilize their community, and be change agents.
So what motivated me to join the CAG is that they were so honest about what they can offer and encouraged me to work for my community. I was excited about that, which I think was better than promising us money like others have been doing. We have had so many organizations coming to work with us here and promise us money they will never give. But when OVP came, they were honest with us, and myself and other volunteers came forward to help our community.
We already have a lot of challenges in this community, which include a lack of kitchens, no secondary school, or a marketplace. We need to have all of this to support our livelihood, to support our children, and develop our community. I realize, therefore, that all this knowledge is good for my very self, my household, and for others.
These are the 13 individuals who have volunteered their time to train and mobilize their neighbors to become change agents for their community. Their hope is to provide greater opportunities for all of Bobohun.
How wonderful to see our future partners from Bombahun excited about building thriving communities. Today, there's a special group of supporters that we'd like to acknowledge. We wish to express our sincere gratitude to the very generous, loyal donors who've been supporting our work in Sierra Leone for 10 years or more. From the beginning and over the past decade, these amazing folks have been the strong foundation upon which we continue to build momentum as we partner with Sierra Leoneans in building prosperous futures. Thank you to each and every one of you for so generously supporting our work. Jill and I have both shared how similar our friends in Sierra Leone are to us and how we share the same concerns, worries about an elder parent's health, stress about being able to pay for health care or our children's education. But we also have the same dreams, providing opportunities so our kids and grandkids can have healthy lives and educational opportunities. There are critical needs everywhere these days, given the pandemic and the systemic racism in our own country. Let's not reduce the challenges to here or there. We need more generosity and love everywhere. Supporting self-sufficiency in Sierra Leone is part of the global effort for racial and gender equity so everyone has a decent start in life. Remember my friend Nancy and the bright future her kids now have. And think about the people in Bombahun and their hopes and dreams that you just heard about. Today, I invite you to dig deep and support these amazing people. Thank you for your support over the past 10 years, during the most recent challenging year, and in years to come. Together, we will continue to thrive.
Thank you, Jeff. Your own commitment to this work is truly inspiring. To all of you, as you consider your gifts, I ask that you be generous. This year is challenging, but we know that we are poised to continue to empower communities in Sierra Leone to drive their own change. I invite you to sign up for a recurring donation. These sustaining gifts provide financial security in the immediate and also allow us to plan ahead. You can give a gift automatically at any frequency convenient to you, monthly, quarterly, annually. You can cancel at any time. And we have a group of generous donors who will match first recurring gifts up to $10,000. If you're joining us at a small in-person watch party, your host will pass around donation forms. If you are joining us virtually, you can easily give at the donation link shown on the bottom of the screen. And if you are interested in making a pledge, giving via a charitable account or stock, or wish to make a legacy gift, I invite you to visit our website or email us at donations@onevillagepartners.org. Thank you again for joining us, for celebrating our 10th anniversary, and for setting the stage for the future of the organization. Together, we are all building thriving, connected, and resilient communities. Together, we thrive.
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 Together we thrive.
Together, we thrive.
Together, we thrive.
Together, we thrive.
Together, we thrive.
Together we thrive.
Together, we thrive.
Together we thrive.